What's going on, everybody? This is Andre here, filling in for Kevin, and this is the beginner's guide to the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to use dark mode. Now there are two different ways to do this. The first way is what you would typically expect. So what you're going to want to do is go to settings. Then from here, go to display. And as you can see up top, dark mode is right here, so of course by default it will be in light mode, but if you turn on dark mode, as you can see it does look pretty cool. In addition to this, there are some additional options. So if you go to dark mode settings, from here you can set a schedule, so you can have it turn on from sunset to sunrise, or a custom time. Now that was easy enough, but with this feature, there actually is another way to do it. So another way to turn on dark mode is by going to your quick menu. To do this, swipe down twice from the top, so 1, 2, then from here, go to the second page. And if you haven't changed anything in this menu, dark mode will be right here. So if you tap on this icon, as you can see, we are now in dark mode once again. And in addition to this, if you press and hold, this is going to take you to the dark mode menu, where again, you can set a schedule. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your wallpaper. To do this, go to settings. Then from here, go to wallpaper and style. So right here. From this menu, go to change wallpapers. And as you can see, we have a few different options here. So featured, gallery, graphical, colors, and then wallpaper services. So if you want to download more, you always can. So to change your wallpaper, simply select one. So like this. From here, hit next. This is going to give you a preview. From here, hit done. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see, the wallpaper has been changed. So definitely pretty simple. Now that was easy enough, but now I'm going to show you another way to change your wallpaper and customize some additional home screen settings. So to do this, instead of going all the way to your settings, all you have to do is press and hold your finger on a blank spot on your home screen. So like this. And this menu is going to show up. As you can see, you can change your wallpaper, customize your theme, add and remove widgets, and access some additional home screen settings. So definitely pretty cool. So I'm going to change my wallpaper back real quick. And there we go. So definitely cool. Now I'm going to show you how to change your screen timeout time. To do this, go to settings. Then from here, go to display. So right here. And then from this menu, go to screen timeout. So right here. And as you can see, I currently have it set to 10 minutes. But if you want it to be a bit shorter, you can set it as short as 15 seconds. So definitely nice to have some flexibility. But also keep in mind, if you're doing something like maybe reading or web browsing or something like that, where you want to keep the screen on, you can set it to 10 minutes, but honestly, if you're doing like a lot of reading, first of all, this is probably not going to be enough. And second of all, if you have a really long screen timeout time and you forget to turn off your display when you set your phone down, this can definitely cause some problems. But luckily with this phone, there is something else you can do. So we're going to go back to the main settings menu. So again, right now we are in the display menu. So as you can see, display. From here, hit the back button. So we are now in the main settings menu once again. From here, go to advanced features. So right here. Then from here, go to motions and gestures. And then from this menu, toggle on keep screen on while viewing. So with this feature on, basically what it's going to do is detect your face with the front facing camera. So as long as you're looking at the screen, it is going to stay on. But if you put your phone down, the regular screen timeout time will apply. So that way you can have a more normal, reasonable screen timeout time. But at the same time, if you're doing something where you don't want your phone to fall asleep, as long as you're looking at it, it will stay on. Now we're going to take a quick look at the sound menu. Now you can of course get to this from the main settings menu, but an easier way to do it is by pressing either volume key. So like this. From here, hit the dots. Then from here, hit the settings icon right here. And this is going to take you to the main volume section. So as you can see, you can change volumes for your ringtone, media, so if you're like watching a video for example, notifications, and then finally system sounds. And as you can see down here, by default, the volume keys will control your media. Now from here, if we hit the back button right here, this is the main sound menu. So as you can see, we got a few different sound mode options here. By default, it will be on sound, so pretty standard. And then you can also set it to vibrate or mute. And keep in mind when you are in sound mode, when the phone is ringing, it's not automatically going to vibrate. But if you want it to make sound and vibrate, you can turn this on. Under this, you can change your ringtone and notification sounds. So for example, if I go to ringtone, this is the default of course, lots of different presets, and I mean really a lot of them. And in addition to this, if you want to add your own, you can do that by hitting the plus button right here. And then same thing for notification sound, so if we go here, as you can see, lots of different presets, but it looks like you can't actually add your own here. But again, at least you can with the ringtone. Then from here, if you go to system sound, this is going to allow you to turn some sounds on and off. So by default, dialing keypad, Samsung keyboard, charging, and the screen lock and unlock sound, those are all going to be on. And then you can also turn on touch interactions. Then from here, the volume section, we were just here. Under this, you can change the vibration for calls and notifications. So a few different options here. And again, same for notifications. Under this, we got system vibration. So a few different things the phone is going to vibrate for. And you can also change the intensity. So definitely a lot of things in the sound menu to play around with, but as you can see in general, it is pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to show you how to change your screen lock. Now by default with this phone, the screen lock is a pin, like pretty much any phone nowadays, and I also have the fingerprint scanner. But I'm going to show you a few different options. To get to these, go to settings. Then from here, go to security and privacy. So right here. And from this menu, go to lock screen. So we got a few different things here. First of all, we got screen lock. So enter your current PIN, and once we're in here, you can choose between a PIN, password, pattern, swipe, or none. So definitely a few different options. In addition to this, at the bottom under biometrics, you can turn the fingerprint scanner and face unlock on. Now keep in mind, to actually set these up, you will have to go to one additional spot, but once you do have them registered, you can turn them on and off from here. Now if we go back to the main lock screen menu, so again, we are in the security and privacy menu right now. Under this, we got fingerprints, so if we go here, again, enter your current PIN, and then from here, you can add and remove fingerprints. And then finally, if you want to use face unlock, go back one more time. Again, we are in the main security and privacy menu. Then from here, go to biometrics. And as you can see, first of all, there's another spot to access fingerprints, and then you can add your face as well. Now I'm going to show you how to take a screenshot with the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G. Now this is real simple, so what you're going to want to do is press the power key and the volume down key at the same time. And you don't have to actually hold the buttons, just again make sure you're pressing them at the same time, so like this. And that's pretty much it. You can save it, edit it, whatever you want to do. And yeah, that's the main way to take a screenshot with the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G. That being said though, there is another way, and keep in mind, this feature will be on by default, so you don't actually have to go anywhere to activate it. But essentially, another way to take a screenshot with this phone is by putting your palm on the edge of the screen, so like this, and then swiping it across. So go like this. And there we go. As you can see, it's not quite as reliable because obviously it's a touch screen, so when you're putting your hand on it, it's bound to not be perfect. But in my experience, it does work pretty well. So definitely nice to have a couple options. Now I'm going to show you how to control which apps can send you notifications. Now, in my opinion, this is definitely an important thing to know because the more apps you have, of course, the more notifications you're going to get. And while of course notifications are great in some situations, if you have maybe a lot of games, for example, I seriously doubt many people need that many notifications from that kind of thing. And having a bunch of notifications you don't need, first of all, can get annoying. And second of all, it does make it quite a bit easier to miss something important. So to manage your notifications, go to settings. Then from here, go to notifications. From this menu, go to app notifications. In this screen right here is essentially going to show you all the apps on your phone. So if you want to turn off notifications for something, simply toggle it off. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to show you how to change your system navigation. So as you can see down here by default, we are going to get the typical 3 buttons, definitely more of a classic kind of navigation. But if you want, you can change this. To do this, go to settings. Then from here, go to display. From this menu, go to navigation bar. So right here. And again, by default, we are going to have the button navigation. You can also switch the back button and recent apps button. And in addition to this, you can switch to what's called gesture navigation. So if you go to swipe gestures, now as you can see, instead of buttons at the bottom, it's going to be this one line right here. So definitely a bit more minimalistic. And in case you've never used this before, let me show you how it works. To go home, swipe up like this. To go to your recent apps, drag your finger partially up. And then to go back, swipe from the side. So pretty simple, and on one hand, I know gesture navigation is definitely not for everyone, but if you haven't already, I definitely do recommend giving it a try. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is how to change your display's refresh rate. Now, in case you don't know, the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G does have a 120Hz display, and essentially this is going to make the movement on the screen a bit faster and smoother, so the phone is going to feel a bit more premium to use. So definitely a nice feature. Maybe it doesn't really make the biggest difference out there, but at the same time, I do think it's a really nice touch. But if you're in a situation where you really want to maximize your phone's battery life, you might not actually want this. But luckily, if you want, you can change it back to 60 Hz. So let me show you how to do it. So what you're going to want to do is go to Settings. Then from here, go to Display. And then from here, go to Motion Smoothness. So again, by default, it will be at 120 Hz, but if you really want to maximize battery life, you can change it down to 60. Now honestly, in my experience, I personally don't really see a huge difference, and since this phone has a really large 6000 mAh battery anyway, I feel like you really don't need to do this, but of course if you really do want to, the option is always there. But this concludes my beginner's guide to the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G. If you want to learn more about pricing and availability, definitely check out the link in the video description because this information does change from time to time. And of course, if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out the other videos about it on the channel because there are quite a few. But again, this was Andre here filling in for Kevin. This was the beginner's guide to the Samsung Galaxy M34 5G, and I will see you in the next video.